All right, I think we're live. I hope we're live. Um, Boy, do I have a story and a lesson and a couple lessons for you guys. Wow, I am I live? Let me just see. I hope I'm live. Is the chat working? Okay, so the chat's working. Why can't I see myself? Okay, so that's okay. Um, so let's just go back to the beginning for a second. We'll get caught up on chat, and then I'll explain all of this mess. Um, because there's a lot to explain. Okay, so Jeremy was first. Grish was a close second. They went back and forth. Tony was actually third. Tony's not going to make it tonight, but if you're watching this tomorrow, Tony, thank you. Um, this is funny because if you don't know, Joe posted a video on his channel about drones, which is very interesting. Legislation that is being proposed or is law, I can't remember exactly. Um, so Bob was here. Joe was, well, this is earlier, I guess. So the 1 hour waiting room. Keith Bennett is here. At least he was. Hopefully you're still here, Keith. Um, I hope you're. Yes, I do hope you're better as well. Um, Jeremy is here. You can't use the studio. Ooh, wow. Okay. That's sorry. That sucks, Keith. I mean, hopefully you're getting better. Um, I will explain this in a second. Toro is here. Um, so yes, okay. So chat's working. So where to start? um, make sure I don't have any notifications that I'm missing on. Okay. Whew. So, as you all know, probably if you've watched this channel for any length of time, a lot of my stuff is just kind of old. It's been around for a while. It still worked. I hate throwing things away that still work, like tech stuff away that still work, because it's just if it still works, why throw it away? It's still useful. Um, so a lot of my stuff is just kind of up there in age, and a couple months ago, maybe I don't know, maybe a month ago, I forget when it was. I'm not good on timelines right now. I haven't been sleeping very well. I haven't had a good night's sleep in probably a week. So let's hope tonight works better. I went to the chiropractor earlier. He said my neck had some issues with it. Hopefully that is what it was. I don't know. We'll see. But so yeah, so I haven't really been sleeping a whole lot. Point being, a month ago, I started having some odd network issues, some Wi-Fi dropouts. Haley was having issues on Zoom calls throughout the day. Things just didn't make sense. So I started looking around and I basically came up with an idea of like, I need to start replacing my stuff. It's old. It needs to be replaced. So, so I started looking into some options and I couldn't decide. Um, Funny, Toro. Funny. um, and so I started looking around at options, and of course, I couldn't figure out Unifi, Grandstream. The stuff still works. So it got to the point where Haley couldn't work. And I tried to remote in their day, and I couldn't get in remotely. Or sorry, I could connect remotely, but I couldn't do anything. So like pfSense was just like kind of working, but not really. So I came home This was yesterday. So I came home, I rebooted pfSense, and when I logged back in the interface, the error message basically was like, unable to read XML file using previous XML, which led me to believe that I had a hard drive issue because it couldn't read the configuration. And so I rebooted it, but the Wi-Fi still was not working. So I was trying to help Haley on her business stuff, and I was wired in, she was wireless, and my stuff was working, and she was calling up the same pages, and it wasn't working for her. And I noticed in Unifi that the number of retries, or the percentage of retries, was like 20%. Like, it was crazy high for the wireless. So I was like, okay, maybe her laptop's got issues. I don't know. Let's go down that road. So I went down that road of like driver updates and BIOS updates and Chrome updates and whatnot. And all that needed done. And then we go to bed last night, and the wireless is broken again. Only it's broken on all of our devices now, not just the laptop. So I said, enough is enough. It is time to, do something different. And obviously she needed internet today to work because she works from home. So she needed internet. So this morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, I swapped out my pfSense firewall desktop that was not working with that Netgate 1100. And holy crap, is that thing slow. Like, painfully slow. I am sorry, Netgate, but that is unacceptably slow. Like, I want to love your product, but that is... I am pretty sure... I don't have it here. I am pretty sure GLI net routers are faster. And they cost less. So, I'm sorry. It just... But anyway, I put pfSense in via the Netgate router and at least got Wi-Fi working. And so I'm like, okay, fine. At least we got Wi-Fi working. And then, because I haven't listened a lot, I didn't think about it. I never did get VLANs working on that thing. So my entire FlyPack rack over here, which is on VLAN 440, was unreachable. Every one of my virtual machines that's on the VM host in XCP&G, unreachable because they all use VLANs, either the server VLAN, which is 220, or the TV network, which is 440. So, crap, I couldn't start the stream. I couldn't call up OBS to get the chat window. I couldn't access Zen Orchestra to turn the machines on. Like, it was just bad all around. So I was literally, when I said I made a big mistake, is I was literally in Netgate configuring an interface on the Netgate router. Sorry, I was in pfSense on the Netgate router, configuring the optional interface to be my server network to plug in to a port on the switch, which I guess I could actually show you as opposed to just talking about it, because it might be a little bit at least more informative. And then I'll tell you about what I did today. I don't think there's anything in here. Oh, wrong browser. Oh, I can't show that browser. So this is my 10 gigabit switch right here. And so I had to go configure a port right here. I just chose port 7 to be my 220 untagged network connection. So I plugged this port into my optional interface on the Netgate and configured it so that my servers would spin up and then I could get to them and then I could turn them on and actually utilize them. So, yeah, so that was what I was doing when I said I made a big mistake is because I had not configured this port or that interface to work. It's not ideal. It's not what I wanted, but at this point, connectivity is better than nothing. So you can see here's my 440 network. This is where I plug in my FlyPack so that it's on its own thing. Currently, the router is plugged into, I believe, 4. I tried to set up VLANs here using 110, which is my base network, and then 550, which is my IoT network, because none of my IoT devices, which are my smart switches, my thermostat, none of that stuff is working right now because it can't communicate. There's no IoT network right now. So yeah, so I still haven't got this part working, which I want to get working because obviously I need to get my IoT devices back up and running so we can turn the thermostat down remotely and we can turn lights on and off because we have one of the lights is controlled via a smart switch because it's behind a couch and it's a lot easier to use a smart switch for it than it is to like reach over the couch and whatnot. So, yeah, you can kind of see some of the stuff that's just been, some of the just kind of crap I've been running into, which is, just old networking gear that doesn't work the way you think it should work. Like the new Netgate router that I was trying, which again is absolute trash. That's the wrong address. I mean, like, look how slow this thing is just to respond. It is ridiculous. And so like, this is what I showed you guys last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago. Like that's not even showing the real graph. Like this graph makes no sense. Anyway, so like interfaces, what I was trying to do earlier, and this is what I was running into was in theory, there's a switch here. It's got it's got VLANs on it. In theory, 550, the IoT network is tagged on port 2, but that's not working. So I tried, it's configured underneath the DHCP server for IoT. It's got all the information, but when you go to look at the status page, there's just nothing connects to it. So, let's go with what I actually decided to do. And let's pull out drawl.io. It's kind of a visual. And this was the drawing that I'm working off of. This is not 100% accurate right now. So basically, I decided to go Grandstream. That's the big announcement. I have watched many videos, talked to many people. Tony and Willie were both kind of instrumental in what I wanted to do. So I looked at the prices, looked at the feature set, figured it's kind of the best combination of both. So today, and yes, I did order this stuff. I ordered, I should say, a GCC 6010 firewall device. This is a dual WAN firewall router and PBX, which is actually kind of exciting. I ordered the GWN 7813P, which is a 24-port PoE switch with 4 10 gigabit SFP connections. As you know, my servers, I think, are 10, or as you probably know, My servers are 10 gig, my NAS is 10 gig, so I needed 10 gig for part of my setup. So this will replace my Cisco's. So I have a 24 port switch with PoE as my core. I'm going to replace the switch in my YouTube rack. It is the GWN 7801 8-port PoE switch. I only use 6 connections right now, so I'll have 2 spare connections. Probably should have went bigger, but I don't think I'll need it too much. And if I run out, then I'll do it. What is not pictured here, and is I bought a second one, and so this will actually be YouTube. This one will actually go in the garage, and this access point will come off of here instead. So so basically I am redoing my entire network. Everything will be PoE. Everything will be part of the Grandstream cloud. And so basically this is going to be my new setup here, with a new firewall, new core switch, a new rack switch, and then a switch in the garage. This will power 2 different access points. So we're going to have one in the office, and then we're going to have one in the attic above the garage. And then I'm also going to, these are just people, I'm just going to use people for this illustration. But I'm going to put 2 cameras off of this one as well. So we're going to have, because I have 2 locations that I want cameras, and so and because everything's PoE, I won't have to do injectors, because I was starting to look at this stuff and going, if I've got to buy 4 injectors to make this stuff work with my current setup, I'm already spending $120 for good ones. So I'm already going to have to buy 4 PoE injectors. Well, $120 pays for one of the switches. So I'm like, well, that basically is a no-brainer. Just buy a switch instead. And then, so that got me like halfway there. And so, yeah, so here is my new setup. I thought about moving to pfSense. I don't know. I get this point, I just kind of want hardware that works, because I'm just simply tired of the network not working. And while I would love to do it in software, I'm kind of burned out on anything Sense. pfSense, pfSense, they're both BSD at this point. I feel like BSD's, I don't want to say they're dead, but it just feels like to me that's old, and I just kind of want to get away from it. That being said, I'm actually considering installing pfSense on my server right now, because I kind of need my VLANs to work, or I need to like redo my entire. I guess I could just put it all on the same network. I guess it doesn't really have to be segregated. I don't know. It just was. So, but I was considering it. And yes, I agree with you, Grish. Very disappointed with the way pfSense is going. The lack of community edition updates is annoying. You know, they want $129 a month or a year, I mean, for updates. That to me is just ridiculous. Like, you want $129 for just software updates? Like, no, I'm not going to pay that. I'm not. So, and then their products are extremely underpowered, which is just insane because they're not cheap. I mean, this firewall that I was looking at today was 300 and some dollars, but it has the same CPU as the current router I'm using, and it's slow. And I just realized you're still looking at that. Like the Netgate 1100, if I open up the web page to view the traffic graphs, it says it's at 100% CPU. Really? You to render a web page puts it at 100% CPU? No, I'm not okay with that. So, yeah, I'm happy that I figured out a way to get live. That's kind of what like my day job is like. Broadcast engineering it's sometimes not perfect, but you got to get what you got to do what you can do to get live, and that's what I did today. So it was kind of a fire drill, but it worked. So here I am, which is why we had no thumbnail. There was no introduction music. There was nothing really. It just kind of happened. So, yes, Keith had ankle surgery, I believe. Picture of his ankle is in the community post. I recommend having an off-shelf solo. Yeah. So this was actually one of the things that I was thinking about today when I was talking to Tony before I purchased all this stuff was what to do with my old stuff. I mean, I have three Cisco switches, a TP-Link switch that I wish I never would have bought. So I have 4 switches that I don't know what to do with right now, and I have a Unifi access point. So I'm not quite sure what to do. So I thought about, I thought about just spinning up, or just having the access point as a backup, like separate network, with like, where's it at? I don't know. It's so weird. Oh. So I thought about taking this GLI net switch and basically plugging it into the Unifi access point and having a disaster recovery network. Because the internet just has to work these days. And so I'm honestly thinking about literally making a separate network out of this router and the old access point, calling it disaster recovery, and having a yellow cable, plugged in and sitting at the, well, not this cable, because this cable has a little springy thing broke. I swear, some of this stuff, you just can't make this up. And so basically, my thought is keeping this around. I have this Flex Mini that I might be able to use. I don't know. I don't necessarily need this, I guess, but basically making a backup network that if anything happens, I can just show Haley how to unplug, the blue cable and plug in the yellow one, and then switch over to the DR access point. I mean, and that way it would bypass everything in the network except for the ISP connection, obviously. But if the fiber ISP goes down, there's not much else I can do. I mean, we have 4G or 5G on our phones. That would be the other option. But her issue is doing Zoom calls on her laptop for her business. So this might be at least something we could have as a backup. I'm not to the point yet of putting in. I mean, the cable internet is $85 a month around here, and that's like the basic package. So I'd be paying more money for a backup internet connection than I do with my current connection. I don't know that I want to do that. So I'm actually more tempted to go get like a Verizon or a T-Mobile or like a Mint Mobile, like data plan, internet service, and like plug that in, because that's like $15 a month as opposed to 85. And if I'm, and we get decent coverage around here in terms of like download speeds. So that may be a better option than it is to, pay for Spectrum internet again, which was $85 a month and was, so, but, yeah, Cisco's going to probably go away. You can get Fox in HD. Eric, welcome in, Eric. I understand the wariness of BSD, given TrueNAS kind of abandoned it. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like BSD's old. I don't know. Yeah. Please do click the like and subscribe button. They're pretty cheap. That was one of the reasons why I went with them, honestly. So I went through Tony. So that's who I would talk to. I'm gonna leave it at that. The look on Jay's face. Now I have to go back and see that. Yeah, backup ISP. I mean, we have Verizon, so that may be an option. Could. I would rather it just work and not need any real, I would say, action on her part, because sometimes she's up in her office, the second floor office. Sometimes she's in the first floor office. And if this stuff's in the basement, I'd rather it just kind of work and not have to worry about like being too far away to tether. I believe she does, yes. Yeah, she should have. I think we have that enabled. Don't know why we wouldn't, unless it costs more. But, because see, the thing about it is I was also thinking if I got something like a Verizon or T-Mobile, that I might put up a dedicated antenna, and outdoor antenna, and point in the right direction to get the best signal possible. Because like if I turn off, I mean, given I'm in the basement right now, but it doesn't get much better if you go upstairs, to be honest. If I go to do a speed test right now on my 5G connection, Wow, it really just sucks down here. Oh, I did a test yesterday. So if I look at the results from yesterday's test, now this is on the second floor, but in the house. I was getting 200 megabits down, but I was only getting 3 upload. So, like, obviously pretty good, one-way communication, but not so much going the other way. So I was thinking that I would need to put up a dedicated antenna if I go with the 5G backup option. Yeah, talk about asymmetrical. Yeah, that's, 200 plus down, 3 up. And in the basement right now, mind you, it's a basement, I'm getting 17 down with 0.07 up. Yes, that's 0.07 up. Yes, and our people do too at work. I mean, that's a common thing for people to use their hotspot. But I would want this just to kind of work, if you will. I also thought it'd be fun, at least fun, if my backup solution was plugged in to the backup internet solution, so like it was a separate network, and then like I could do syncs to it, to just basically make sure it's working. If so like I don't have to test it manually. I just do a test. I have it automatically test it by backing up stuff across the network. So yeah. I will say I had to dig down deep in order to I'll admit I said I trust them. Like I said, if it wasn't for Tony and Willie talking about them in such a way that made me believe, then I probably would have went with Unifi. But they both swear by them. So, and Tony told me that he uses them at his customers. And if he's installing them on his customers' networks and in his own house, then I have to say I'm going to give it a shot. If it backfires, then it backfires, and I'll have to, figure out what to do next. But comparing the prices to Unifi, it was substantially cheaper to do Grandstream. I guess I shouldn't say substantially, but it was significantly cheaper to do Grandstream. And the one thing I also was looking about Unifi is that like Grandstream products have their own web page. So like if the cloud goes down or whatever it is, you don't lose the ability to change things because each device has its own interface. The one thing I never liked about Unifi was that you couldn't get into the access point unless you adopted it first. And I never did like that. That never set well with me. It was always like, well, that's kind of eh. It was kind of the same way. It's kind of the same way XCP-ng is in a way that when you install XCP-ng on a server, it doesn't automatically have the ability to do anything. That you need to have a separate controller. That's always bugged me about XCP-ng as well. I understand the mindset behind it. Like, I understand why you do that, but it's not... I just don't like it. And, I mean, case in point today, if everything goes down for whatever reason and I need to reconfigure something on the fly, I don't want to have to adopt products to a different controller to change things. I want to just go to that device and make my changes. And so it always bugged me that Unifi didn't do that. It does bug me that XCP-NG does that, but they're working on Exo Lite, and that actually saved my you-know-what tonight, because I could get into that and at least turn my virtual machines on that were not on, which is why you're able to see the stream, because I had to restart Zen Orchestra to get an IP address on the new network. Then I had to get into Zen Orchestra to change the interfaces so that it was all on the same house network. But if I couldn't get into Zen Orchestra to start, sorry, if I couldn't get into Exo Lite in order to restart Zen Orchestra, I would have never had a stream. So, thank God at least XCP-NG is going in the right direction by giving you Exo Lite on the host that at least has some sort of functionality. I don't need everything, but I need the ability to at least start and stop machines. And if they can allow you to change network interfaces, that's all I need on the host. I don't need backup. I don't need, all the other stuff. I just need the ability to do basic work on the machine itself. And that's one reason why I like the Grandstream products, because I, in theory, can get into them and change settings if all hell is breaking loose. So, yes, 0.7 up. It's a new soft drink. You probably missed the beginning. The actual issue that started this whole mess was that pfSense had a storage issue. And it was just crashing. It would just die. So, and then the access point is probably 7 years old. It's an old one. And so, yeah, it's definitely an old access point. So it probably was time to replace it anyway. So it spurred a whole conversation and whole, big purchase today. But yeah. Oh, yes. So that is true. So I've had a VoIP phone from Grandstream for like 10 years. This is the GXP 1400. And the new the new GCC 6010 has Grandstream PBX built in, which, not that I need a PBX, but I wouldn't mind trying it out and messing around with it. Hold on a second. And I didn't load my graphics before this, so that was not exactly what I was hoping was going to happen. Love the LTT reference. What LTT reference did I make? Yeah, I mean, I think the Unifi cloud reference that I was making wasn't necessarily the cloud itself, because I wasn't going to do the Unifi cloud, but the Unifi controller sits on the hardware of the routers that they're selling now, I think, right? So, like the cloud gateways, that's where the controller sits. And if that box were to die and I had to reconfigure the network, I couldn't, because that cloud controller would be down. If the Grandstream router dies, the way I understand it is I can go to each device and log into it and make changes. So that to me is the big difference between the two systems. That one requires a cloud controller and they don't have interfaces, and one offers cloud as an add-on, but it's not required. And so to me, that's a huge difference. But again, your cloud key is needed. You still have a central point of failure that if you lose, the rest of your devices become not stupid, but you have to do some more work to get them running. Yeah, no, Eric, the thing is you can't. I mean, I guess you, in theory, could SSH into them, but yeah, there's no nice interface to change things. Correct. You don't. They don't. They don't become stupid. Like they don't lose their minds. But if you, like in my example, if you needed to reconfigure things, change subnets, change whatever, that becomes harder. You can't just change what port configuration it is. Like that Cisco, I can go in and just change the port configuration because there's no cloud controller. There's nothing. It doesn't need. It has its own controller. So that part is what I really do like about the Grandstream line of stuff. Now, what I don't like is apparently I don't like the firewall rules. I think I will have some issues with the firewall rules because watching the YouTube videos that Tony and Willie did. I mean, I'm sure I'll get around it, but they don't seem they're very straightforward. They're definitely missing some of those features that everybody else has. So I am waiting. I would love to see Grandstream work on their firewall rules, just like Unifi. It took Unifi Ubiquity. It took a long time for Unifi to come up to the point where people wanted to use their firewalls who weren't basic users. You know, Tom Lawrence, for example, he would not use their firewalls at all until version 9 because they didn't have the granularity that he wanted in a firewall. That's one of the things I liked about pfSense was that you could do whatever the hell you wanted to because you had full control. I feel like I'm giving up some of that for Grandstream, but we'll see. I don't know. The network was down almost all day yesterday. I got it up and running for about 3 hours, and then it went down again. It was down all night. I brought it back up this morning at 8 a.m. using the Netgate SG-1100. That is what I'm currently streaming to you on. And in my testing, I'm only getting about 90 megabits up and down. Out of my 500 megabit internet connection, I'm only getting 90. Which is actually interesting enough. The fastest option they list on the spec sheet for like a VPN. And I'm not doing a VPN with it, so I'm not sure why I'm only limited to 90, but yeah, I'm only getting... Hey, Tony, welcome in. Just talking about the whole situation. You're obviously aware of it. We've been talking all day. And thank you, Tony, for all your feedback and helping the Grandstream move. I'm looking forward to it arriving and redoing my entire network, which should be interesting. Well, I mean, sort of. Glad it works. Highly disappointed in it. It is way too slow. It is painfully slow. the web page pushes the CPU to 100% usage. That's not okay with me. That no device should be 100% usage rendering a web page. So, yes, it's working. Knock on wood. But I'm so glad I didn't spend my money on it. And I'm not sure the next version will be much better. It's the same CPU. It's a different chipset for the network cards or whatever, but I'm not impressed with the CPU usage. I would have to go probably... I would probably have to go all the way up to what Joe has, which I think is the 6100 series, because that actually looked like it had enough processor power to do the kind of stuff that I would expect a router to do. And I may not be happy with the Grandstream router either. It may not do what I want it to do, but based on what Tony's said it's doing and the bandwidth photos, speed test photos, that he's provided, it looks like it's going to be better than the one I have now. So, we'll see. Tony says you'll be happy once you get used to the Unifi management options. I don't know what that is. It's different from pfSense. That's true. But like we were talking about, I use aliases and list for things in firewall rules. You know, I have a list of allowed IP addresses and like an alias list. And so I love to just allow this alias group in one firewall rule, and it allows multiple things. I didn't see that in the Grandstream. So hopefully they will add that feature. Hopefully they'll add it soon. You would think so. There's nothing. Literally, I mean, first of all, my back room right now, my tech wall, if you will, is a complete freaking mess. And it's in shambles. I mean, I cut every wire tie. I have wires hanging off the crap. Like, it looks so bad compared to what it was. It's literally driving like me nuts. So hopefully when this is all done, we get that back together. My point being, I literally removed the cables that my old router were plugged into and plugged them into the the Netgate. So like they're the same cables that used to work fine. So I don't think it's what it is. I think it literally is the Netgate. I think it's this box. I just think it's, I mean, I hit enter, and this is how long it takes to wait. Took me quite a ways to get that, and I don't want to scroll on too far, but like, this takes forever to render this stuff. Also, I'm currently streaming, and this does not show the fact that I'm streaming. I don't understand, like, that makes no sense. But whatever. I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the poop emoji, but I mean, it's not the best. No, not bad cable, bad. No, I mean, the cables are the same. Yeah, Joe has a 6100. I remember when Joe configured it live during COVID. It was a fun stream, at least for Bob and I who are watching. Will there be a stream with the unboxing? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I hadn't I guess I hadn't honestly thought about that. Um, there's a part of me that wants to, and there's a part of me that says, hell no. um, gosh, yeah, I don't know. You know what? That would be. Hmm. I might offer that as a pay per view. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll offer that as a pay per view, and I don't know. You could, I don't know, Venmo me $5, and you can get in the the private Zoom. I don't know. I that might be interesting. I don't know. That might be. I don't know. Now you got me thinking. I am not head over heels with pfSense though. If you're not into it every day, you forget. Yeah, it's their interface hasn't been updated in a long time. I'm not gonna knock them too much for that because it's interface that works. But yeah, the interface is kind of it's just not modern. It's not been updated in a long time. Not gonna knock them for it, but it's definitely a mark, if you will, or I guess something to think about. Hold on. Yes, 900 symmetrical is way better than what I have now. 10 times faster, in fact. And Tony has two fiber ISPs, if I'm not mistaken. And not sure if he wants this talked about or not, but he's talked about how he is using policy routing to go out different paths. So that's interesting to me as well. Um, Wait a minute. Hold on. I just had an idea. If I go down the backup internet route and I have a cellular connection being sent to a backup, Wi-Fi, and my new firewall has dual WAN, I could, in theory, plug the cellular output into the second WAN connection, which would give me failover on my main network. But if the main network went down, I could still switch to the disaster. Ooh. This is interesting. I'm so if I did this and then I basically had I don't know. This as a DR network, and then this would be like my main internet connection, then I could have both of these here. And then this would be like, oops, why did it not go red? That's font color. Never mind. Style red. So I could have a disaster recovery network feed the Unifi. Oh, this has options. This has me written all over it. So yeah, this would be interesting. Yeah, what if I did that? That'd be fun. That'd be something. So I could literally build a DR network that would stand alone, but could also back up the fiber network via the dual WAN connection. Huh. That would be something. Now I'm really liking this. Now I'm getting excited about it. All right, go back up to the thing. Yes. Tony says he's put in a request to his Grandstream contact for group alias and ability to duplicate rules. Yes, that would be. That would definitely be one of the first things. That'd be like the first thing I'd ask for too, based on your videos. Is you definitely need that firewall rule set page, which I did spend time looking at the demo page. Willie Howe sent me the link on how to get in a demo account for Grandstream, so you could actually like walk through the interfaces, and so I did actually do that. So I have some kind of idea what they look like. The firewall rules definitely need some help, we'll say. I mean, they look nice and fancy, but I definitely think that they could use a little bit more efficiency, I guess is maybe the right, I don't know if that's the right word or not, but can you check in pfSense? It should say if it's 100. I can. Interfaces, switches, ports. Is this what you're looking at? All the ports are labeled at 1000. Oh, right here. Grish says the SG-1100 caps out at 100 megabits, confirmed by Tom. Yep. Okay. So I'm not crazy. I mean, if you look at the appliances page, products, application. Oops. So it says that it forwards and does a VPN. In a perfect world, this is what I'm getting right now. Using mixed traffic. So I don't know where these numbers come from, but I'm not seeing that. And if you look at the tech specs, it's a Core 2 ARM, ARM. It's an A53 at 1.2. It's exactly the same CPU in the nicer version. Now, it's got more RAM, and it's in theory got the same base storage, so that's not an improvement. I guess you could buy the M.2, but the only difference is this is all one chip, and this is two different chips. But notice this doesn't change. It still gives you this 90 megabits per second VPN, and that's what I'm getting right now. So, and if I'm going to spend this kind of money on a firewall, it better freaking do more than that. And so you have to go up to almost $600 to get a 4-core Intel processor that's not ARM and get something that actually might actually move the data that they say that they want that they're going to move. And then if you go up to like what Joe bought, I spent a little more than $800. Well, I spent more than $800. I don't forget exactly what it was, but I spent more than this and bought a whole new network. So, yeah. Trust me, I wanted to find a way to justify buying a pfSense box. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So, pfSense defaults to bytes to charge. Change to bits. Oh. Really? Where is that? Hold on. Oh, you're right. I see it now. Save. Well, thanks, Grish. That definitely that does make a difference. Oh, I just downloaded a whole bunch of stuff apparently. What time zone is that? Anyway. Oh, yeah, no, I will definitely make that a stream. Definitely make a stream about my new setup for sure. I mean, you give super chats to other people to see them do stuff, so I don't know. I was just having fun. I don't know. I don't. Also, why do you imply that I would struggle setting this network up? I mean, I probably will, but I'm just. Why would you just go there automatically? I actually did too. I remember the old classic red, like old school red and gray interface, something like that. Let's get ready to rumble. The former heavyweight pfSense in the. That's a good one. That would be a. Yeah, that would be cool. I could do a GoFundMe. Not sure I'd get many people to contribute, but I could do one. Get familiar with the UI, then do a stream because an unboxing will lead to let's suck it up and see what it's all about. Unless you know the interfaces, it won't do it justice. No, you're bright. Like I said, if somebody wants to pay to watch me do it, I might do it in like a members only type of thing. I don't think any of you want to watch me do that though. I don't. I really don't think that'd be entertaining. Not to mention, I'd probably knock myself off the internet a couple times. Yeah, no, that's going back a little ways, but yeah, that's an interesting thought to say the least. So Eric asked a good point. How does it know? Tony says that it switches back and forth. Can you configure? I don't know the answer to that. I'm guessing you can. Go show Haley. Well, the idea is it's one cable, and you just move one cable over. Or just switch. That's what I'm saying. If I have all a different network, that you literally can just, on the phone, choose the other network. Yeah, no, that's what I was trying to get to, is that yes, I would basically have it configured, not auto connect, but then if hell were breaking loose, then on the device, go find the disaster recovery network and hit connect. That was kind of my thought. And second, yeah, I mean, like I said, the CPU just, when you open the web page, the CPU meter goes to 100, which I think is, um, no, I have the SG-1100. It's not mine. I'm borrowing it, but it's an SG-1100. The Cortex A53 is the Raspberry Pi 3. Okay. No problem, David. Welcome in. I hear that show's popular. I never watched it, but um, yeah, it's the 1100. That's the base model, the very lowest model. Thanks, Tony. No, so sorry for the confusion. I was looking at getting the 2100, like buying it myself, but it has the same CPU as the 1100, which I'm currently using, and I'm not impressed. Yes. So let me go back to that. I can describe what I'm buying. Oh, Bob's here. Welcome in, Bob. Were you here earlier, or did I just miss you? Um, so this is the network that I'm currently planning, and I have bought most of this stuff. Actually, I think so. Um, so I bought the new Grandstream GCC 6010 firewall router and PBX. I bought a 24 port PoE switch with four 10 gig SFP plus ports. It's going to be connected to my YouTube flypack to a 8-port PoE switch. I bought two new access points and a second 8-port switch that'll go in my garage. This garage will provide PoE to two different cameras and a access point. This main core switch will power up one access point, and this access point will be in the basically the office on the first floor. This access point will be in the attic above the garage, which is closer to the second office. We have an upstairs office and a downstairs office. So both offices will be covered by basically their own access point. I had not intended for this to be part of the setup, but in talking on the stream, because the Grandstream has two WAN connections, I am thinking about having the first WAN connection be my fiber internet and a second WAN connection go to a disaster recovery network, which would basically be like a GLI net router with a cellular connection plugged into my old Unifi access point. And so if for some reason any of this stuff were to die, which is then we could switch over to a separate network. Or if my fiber internet connection were to die, it could switch over to cellular automatically, which would be great. So this is what I'm designing right now. I purchased this gear today, so this stuff's coming. Not sure when it's going to be here, though. Yes, for Joe, it's pay to play. Let's get ready to reverse that. That's good. I will give you super chat when you get monetized when you do VODs. Yeah, I know. It would be like the Truman Show for geeks. Survivor, does it remind you of working days? Hello, Jason. Welcome in. Yeah, a little bit, and by a little bit I mean a lot. Like, yeah. To use a reference, old reference, I think Netgate has jumped the shark. I think they're done for. Thanks, Keith. You're probably gone by now, but yes, hopefully you feel better. Wow, every episode. Holy crap. Home disaster recovery sounds funny. It does, but it does and it doesn't to me. I mean, we are constantly thinking about disaster recovery options and whatnot. So, like, it doesn't sound too weird to me. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to do this necessarily, but it's one of those things that I'm considering having a disaster recovery network. The funny thing is I actually have access to my neighbor's Wi-Fi because I set it up for them. So I could also just like be a client off of their Wi-Fi and have my neighbor's Wi-Fi be my backup recovery or disaster recovery network. I'd have to get permission, of course, but I, in theory, could do that too. Starlink. Yeah, Starlink is impressive, but I'm not going to pay that price. You applied to be on Survivor and The Apprentice. That is pretty cool. I've never applied to be on a TV show before. Yes, I have a disaster recovery sump pump too. Well, yeah, I mean, you know this. When you work from home, it kind of is. Yeah, I just well, about a month ago, I drained it down just to make sure that because they recommend you do that every once in a while. Haven't needed it, thank God. I actually haven't heard the sump pump running quite a bit because it's wintertime and there's usually not a whole lot of water, uh, in the ground. But yeah, I definitely do check on it. I did not put a lid on the sump pump or on the crock. Like there used to be a lid there. Part of me says I don't want to put a lid on it. Part of me thinks I should. I don't know. Um, I don't have a generator. I have a battery backup unit. A Oh God, what is that thing called? Ecoflow. Jeez, I have an Ecoflow battery backup unit that currently powers my sump pump, my backup sump pump. One thing I do plan on doing, which I've not done yet, is to modify my furnace to have a plug-in connector so that I, in theory, could use the EcoFlow to power the furnace in the event we lose power and need heat. Because the fuel is natural gas, all the battery backup unit has to do is power the motor. Not sure how long it would power it for, but it was an idea that I had. But no, I do not have a generator or a UPS. If the power goes out, that's a whole different scenario in terms of technology. I've applied to be on a show called Top Shot. Oops, the whole thing just jumped again. Huh. Never heard of that one. I've heard people talk about that. I've never seen it before, but I've never really. We have done tests at work. The download speed was always impressive. The upload speed, not so much. We are doing a remote in. We're doing a remote in like 2 weeks. That'll be very interesting because we're going to be doing. It's opening day, so we're going to be at two different locations, like 200 feet apart, and then we're using two different backpacks, and then we're going to run Ethernet cables to the Starlink, and then we're going to have Starlink plugged in, so we'll have bonded cellular with Starlink together. So times two. So it's going to be really interesting to see. They don't want to do traditional satellite. They don't want to do microwave because it's hard to do microwave from that location. They want it as basically as simple, stripped down as possible. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm very curious to see what happens because last year I believe it was a sunny day outside, so a lot of people went down there, and you couldn't make a phone call. And the competition brought their Starlink dish, plugged it all in, turned it on, and then it did a software update, killing their live shot because it did a software update. Because it doesn't care what you want to do; it does what it wants to do. And there's no option to sit there like hit and say no, I don't want you to do an update. It just kind of does it. So, I'm curious to see how this works because, like I said, it knocked them off last year for a little bit while it did an update. But also, its lack of upload speed is kind of interesting because it doesn't really give you a lot of upload speed. It gives you great download. It's kind of like my 5G right now. Like it gave me this like 100 plus download speed, but it had like 5 or 10 upload. And I'm gonna be curious to know if we can do 2 live shots off of that. That's a good question. I don't No, I want to say it was like $15 a month when I looked at it last time. Wasn't that expensive for a data only plan, kind of thing. Look at the Lino Vision cellular modems. They're good. I have one and it's connected to my. Did you do a video on that? I feel like I've seen a video on that. I think you did. Yes, and we do pause our plan at work. We do. We have the plan where you can pause it, but it's $150 a month. At least that's the plan we're on, and I don't want to have to make a phone call to activate it. So, or go online and activate it. So, I mean, I guess I could, but I just feel like personally, I feel like if I got a cellular modem with a dedicated antenna, that would be a better option. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. And then what happens? You don't get to work, or you don't have to work. When your alarm system no longer uses copper wires, it's kind of a problem. Need power for the internet now. Ouch. Yeah, you talked about your alarm setup and whatnot. It's the Ecoflow river or something. Is it the 3? I don't know. It wants me to log my account. Yeah, I got the Ecoflow river. I think it's the river 2 or 3. I think he has I think you have a balcony. True. I guess I define disaster in a little bit different way. But technically speaking, I could plug this network into the backup battery unit, and she could come down and plug her laptop in and sit in the dark, I guess. Or at least if the backup network was plugged into the battery unit and her laptop had juice, which it should, she could continue to operate for at least a little bit. I'm in an urban forest. That's a good question. I don't know. I didn't say it was a great idea. I just said it was an idea. But the idea also that I was having was basically, if it's a cord, then I could run a cable out, like through the window here, and get to a generator. The neighbor has a generator. I have access to generators, so I could, give me options. Right now, the furnace is hardwired in. There is no option to plug it in. So I want to change it to be a plug-in so that there at least is an option there should I need it. Yes, urban forest does sound like all the trees are plastic. Yes, I got what you meant. I don't know. Like I said, I got to test it out. Yep. That's kind of the thing I'm on, like, yes, I want a generator, but we've lost power like 3 times in the 14 years we lived here. For any length of time, I mean, we've only lost power for like a length of time, like 3 times. So is it really worth it? I don't know. And because, again, I don't want to have to like go out and start a generator and do everything manually. I would want just an automatic generator, and those are substantially more money. And so, pros and cons, um, yeah, they do. I'm on the, like I said, at work we have the 150 mega or $150 a month plan. So I don't know what tier that is, but we'll find out soon how well it works. I do know that it brought in a feed for the Super Bowl, and it had no problems doing that. So, yay for that. You've never experienced a brownout? I am somewhat lucky sharing the power line connection with 3 street lights. Well, the whole subdivision is underground wires, so and the village has its own power company or own power guys, and so we have a main feed coming into the village from the cable or from the power company. So we generally have pretty good luck. We have a huge solar farm over there too, but that obviously can't work if the grid's down. But does that work if you haven't? Does that work if you haven't had the unit on for some time? Because I think the issue is whenever we let the unit sit and we plug it in, the first thing it wants to do is an update. So I'm curious to know if that is a setting that you can do like for regular users, or if you let it sit for a while, because from what I understand is when we let it sit, we don't get the option when we turn it on. The best system I ever saw was effectively 2 light switches. Well, I mean, that would make it easy. Bye, Toro. I can see that. That is true. The only time you need one is when you don't have one. We test our generators every month at work. Yes, I can see the post now. Well, I had one. I've actually heard of that before. That probably does factor in, my guess. You could add a motorcycle battery as a starter. Yep, I could see the battery being a problem. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like I said, when it burned our competitor last year, their Facebook post made it basically say, "We got screwed. We had no option." And then when we pulled ours out for the Super Bowl, I was told it was the same thing. Like, we turned it on and it was like, "And update." I will have to. I'll have to see about that, because I was told there was no option. from two different people. So maybe there is now. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't a year ago. That I've not heard about. Doesn't mean it's true. I just haven't heard about that one. You're assuming there were engineers involved. Live shots are not done by engineers these days. So it wasn't on their Facebook page. It was on someone else's Facebook page who was at the event. I've wired the power let into the back of the house and into the relay box and taken over the circuit breakers. Yeah, I've seen those manual options for all kinds of stuff. I would definitely like to do that at some point. Of course, I'd like to just have it be automatic as well. I actually do have a inclining. I might be able to get one used, because there's one at a transmitter site that isn't being used right now, and I'm kind of wondering if I made them an offer if they wouldn't take it for like an automatic one, fully automatic one, because they're not using it now. So I'm curious they don't need it necessarily. So I'm kind of wondering if I just gave them an offer if I could get it. So we just had this conversation today at work because, an untested backup isn't a backup. And I used the phrase checkbox theater. And if you don't know what that means, basically it means for compliance, everyone just checks the boxes to make sure they're happy, but no one actually follows through and to completion. Basically, did you check the backups? Yes, I did. Well, it doesn't say how to check them. It didn't say restore a backup. It just said do backups. So you check the box that says I did the backups, but it didn't tell you what to back up. It didn't tell you how to back it up. It didn't tell you to check the backup and do a restore. It just said do backups. So checkbox theater is people just checking boxes to say I did it without actually going through the steps and thinking about all the way through and doing a restore. So yeah, it's and as somebody who has lost data at work, I'm very aware and conscious of these backup options and whatnot, and so there was a day at work where I was literally thinking I was going to get fired because we had a server fail, and I was like, I'm going to get fired for this, and it didn't happen. I was very, very happy that it didn't happen, but I wouldn't have argued if they did, if they fired me, because I was IT manager. It was my job to make sure it didn't fail, and it did. The Grand Coulee Dam outputs 6 gigawatts? Holy crap. 6 gigawatts? I bet the data centers love it. We're getting a data center here because there's high tension power lines and a substation that way. Yeah, we're getting a big data center. I'll just leave it at that. And I'm going to drive by it every day to go to work. I actually thought about applying there, but it would technically be a pay cut, at least according to their preliminary job postings. I haven't actually seen the job postings, but the article I read about it basically said it would be a pay cut for me. So I'm not going to do that. Um, yes, the U-Ray box is not in use. This is an FFmpeg stream. I actually was trying to use AI to build a PHP interface for FFmpeg so I could start and stop it via a web page instead of command line. The AI was helpful, but not entirely correct. It didn't work. I tried the AI like 4 different ways, and it didn't work any of the 4 ways it gave me. It does start the stream, but it never reads the log, so it never tells me, like, it never gives me confirmation that the stream started. And then it was supposed to give me a way to stop the stream, and the stop button never shows up. So yeah, I was, you know, they say that you could use AI to make websites and code websites. Well, I've tried it, and so far, not impressed. But I mean, whatever. It got me a lot of the way there, but it never did work. And then I literally asked AI to use PHP to read a log, and that alone would not work. So I don't know where the problem lies, if it's the code or if it's permissions or if it's whatever it is. But yeah, I was hoping to get like a nice, cool GUI, on a web page that would allow me to start and stop the FFmpeg in code, because I was actually going to try to do like 2 or 3, like, because the thing has more than one input. So I was actually going to see if it was possible to like set up multiple streams off the same web page, because I have a use case for that. But so far, I haven't been able to figure out the code to make that work. But probably for lack of sleep and all the other things, and the network frustration and the outages and all that other stuff, it's been one of those things where haven't got to it yet. So that'll probably be a future stream at some point. We'll go down that rabbit hole again like we did before, because, well, frankly, I kind of want to. I had forgotten that I fired up a new server, and I went to the other day to look at how we were doing. I've done a wow, yeah. Glad you have it working. We pay 12 to 15 cents kilowatt, so that's like 8. That's cheap. That is cheap. I think sorry, is that with the tariffs or not? Oh, sorry, I can't. Sorry. Not gonna go there. Not gonna go there. I think we pay 13 cents a kilowatt hour. I think is what we pay here. It's like 13 or 15, I think. We flip back and forth from a grid that's called something like Pacific Power Grid. Well, there's 3 grids in America. There's 3 grids, and I think that's Canada too. There's basically the East Coast grid, there's the West Coast grid, and then there's the Texas grid. And I know this because when Texas had its meltdown, only Texas melted down because they like to do their own thing. And yeah. So I know there are 3 grids in America, and Texas is its own. Oh, we don't give a damn for the whole. Oh wait, that's a different song. Oh, if Jeremy was still here, um, I would sing the song because it's about his state. But I don't think he's here. I think he fell asleep. That's my guess. Um, yes, Bob, I work for a large energy company. I've often wondered what you do because some of the things you said to me made me wonder what exactly it is you do. um, 13 gigawatts. Wow. Without tariffs. That was good. Um, ooh, 50. Damn. Yeah, that's crazy expensive. Oh, Jeremy is here. Sing, sing, sing. Energy trading. Okay, well, that explains some of the references you've made. Um, so, one of the favorite songs down here is "Oh, we don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan." So there you go. Which is not true, but it's a fun thing to say on Saturdays when you play sports. Or sport ball, as some of you call it. Okay, so it looks like we're caught up. Power X. Is that how you pronounce it? Power X? I mean, you've had to have heard that song before, right? I'm assuming you have. um, who's texting me? Oh, okay. Okay. That is a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. um, Tony ordered it or helped me order it, so I don't actually know. You've never heard that before? Well, I guess you don't do sports ball, so yeah, that might explain it. The last line is so it's we don't give a damn about the whole state of Michigan because we're from Ohio. That's what the last line of the song is. I actually sorry to get back to this. I actually do need to follow up with that and figure out when does that happen. um, because one of the things that would be interesting to see is when I'm going to actually convert over to it because, like I said, my wall of tech has got a lot of stuff on it right now, and it'd be interesting to see how I'm going to convert over to it and, how long it's going to take to convert over to it. So it might be fun if I don't stream it live, which I don't think I will, but if I to at least do a time lapse of it going in, that would be something. Because like I said, my whole wall of tech is just, I mean, I look at it right now and go, it's just absolutely a mess. Um, Several things were put in, and I never actually like finished putting them in, so the wires are just all hanging there. The one PC needs to come off. The fiber line is just kind of hanging there right now. It's attached, like it's not just loose or hanging literally, but it's like it's not really in the way I wanted to have it be in, and they don't protect their fiber lines, which I find interesting. Like I would have thought they would have gave like the flex tube to run the fiber line in. They don't. They just run the fiber line. So I kind of want to put the fiber line in flex tube so I don't accidentally pinch it or, whatever. Probably overkill. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's fiber, it's fragile, it's not, because the fiber we use at work is tactical fiber. So, like, not in the building, but I mean, when we do remotes, and tactical fiber is like got carbon fiber strands in it or whatever it is, like you can literally pull on it. And so I'm kind of like going, well, do I really need because general fiber seem to be not as reliable as the tactical stuff we use. So I kind of want to put some protection around the fiber because I'm just afraid that I might somehow crimp it, whatever it is. And then obviously I can't just replace it because I don't have fiber patch cables that I can run outside the house and plug in. And I've come to think of it, did they put a lock on the ONT or the box outside? I can't remember if they actually did or not. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. An entry for Rate My Wall. Oh boy. That could be a community post. That would be an interesting one. I remember Joe telling you have a radio voice. Yeah, I definitely don't have Does that really have 10,000 views? I can't imagine it does, but does it really? Videos, views. Holy crap. So I have several videos that are doing well. Yeah, no, the protection for the fiber is definitely not very good. And I do not have a spare drop. No, I'd have to go get one. Mine does go to a D mark, but that's what I was looking for was the name of the damn handoff. I don't know if they put a lock on the D mark or not. I have to go. I'll have to check. Yeah, so I mean, this video is now highly outdated because um, 3 years ago. Holy crap. Man, time flies. So, wow, this is even worse than I thought it was. So, this is no longer in use. It's still on the wall, but nothing's plugged into it. This is no longer here. This now has currently 3 switches instead of this one. But I'm actually going to get rid of all 3 switches and go back to having one. This cable modem's gone. The fiber internet is now over here. I just temporarily hung it up on the wall here. I'm thinking it'll probably go up here out of the way, so it's not anywhere near where I like to, move things around. Um, but yeah, like wow, this is definitely changed. Um, so quality looks like crap. Yeah, that's a cable modem. That's gone. I had to return that. That's like I said, that's still there. These three, oh wow, that's what I was doing. Holy crap! So these three still exist, but I added a fourth, a 440 for TV and or my YouTube, and 550 is now IoT. I The guest network technically exists. There's no SSID for it though, so you can't connect to the guest network, but the VLAN still exists. This is the PoE injector that water came down the cable and went in and fried. So this has been replaced by a different new one, but it's not PoE in that it's like PoE or AO 801 AT or whatever the hell the standard is. This is the passive PoE. um, yeah, so I mean, it's like I said, it's a shame that those Cisco switches are gone or will be gone soon because like they're nice switches, but that's all the old phone wiring that doesn't get used. This is now where the servers sit on top of this white thing. This is where both my servers sit. That's gone. That died, essentially. Still got 10 gig everywhere, or to the main stuff at least. Still on DirecTV. Some days I don't know why, but we still have DirecTV. This has changed a little bit because no, it hasn't. This is still there. Yeah, this is still there. Like all these wire ties, I cut, and like so the wires are just all hanging loose and free. So, but yeah, you made him vomit. Oops. Yes, it does. That's how you first found me. Okay, cool. I think it's a lot of people. I think that might be common for several people on here. Yeah, no, I think Grandstream will be a topic that'll go well. Just gotta make sure I use the right keywords, which Haley's teaching me about how to do like keyword research and stuff. So I need to like make sure I use the right um, keywords and whatnot. And I think I just watched members like I watched a member stream on like 1.5x from Jeremy, and he talked about his new AI tool for YouTube, which I want to try out. See if it can help me make better descriptions. Some of the descriptions, in case you haven't noticed, are pretty generic because I just don't really want to like I don't know what words to use, but also like there's a core group of you. You all like the ones that are here. There's a core group of you, and like that's who I'm talking to, and like I want to grow the channel, obviously, but like also I don't think live streams are going to do it that way. So like I'm not really like pushing forward. I'm making clickbait titles and whatnot to get viewers to come in. Um, I don't think you can. Well, no. The coax is it's got the top part of that system was the antenna system, like the over-the-air antenna coming down and getting split to several TVs in the house. The bottom part was all for DirecTV. I am not buying a rack for all the gear. I would love to have a rack, but there's not a lot of floor space available for a rack to go in. At least not very well. I would love to have a rack for my servers and stuff, but yes, the AFATBT. That's what I was looking for. I would entertain the idea if you wanted to message me. Yes, DirecTV still very much exists, but now they offer it via satellite and IP. So you can buy an IP only package, or you can buy the satellite package and get access to the IP one, but it's not exactly the same thing that you would get normally. But yeah. No, they are not stream only. They offer a streaming package, but they still offer satellite service. I don't. I don't think I know. I don't think I will. Um, there's only one switch going on the wall. Like, there's currently three switches there. I'm gonna take all three switches off. Hold on. I'm gonna take all three switches off. I don't use one of them. It's just there. So I'm gonna take all three switches off and put the one new one on, so it'll actually go back to the way it looks like in that picture, kind of, as opposed to the current three that stick out. Um, so, and then I think I'll probably hang the router on the wall with the using like the like two screws. Cause I'm pretty sure the Grandstream can slide onto a mount. So no, it'll all be wall based still. Like I said, I wish I could get a rack, but there will be no swimsuit thumbnails. Don't let your network burn down. But yeah, I literally have like one switch that I need to mount. Like there's not much and I can't put the servers in the rack because the servers are too heavy. So I think that's a little bit much to do one switch. It's possible. That's possible. Again, I have one switch to mount. It's not going to be like, what would I put in the cabinet, and what cabinet would I get? Yes, but the router is not rack mountable. There's no rack kit for it, at least that I'm aware of. Um, you bought a 4U or 8U rack? Yes, the rack mount power management is nice. The GCC 6010. Well, I guess I do have my Ugreen NAS needs to sit on something. I'm just not sure how well I'd mount it to the wall, or how well it would do mounted to the wall. I guess if you have some examples, send me some. Send me some. I'll consider it, I guess. Yeah, I mean, in theory, I could. I don't know. In theory, I guess I could put the servers in a rack, but then I have to find some way to store my cables and stuff that are below the servers. Someone made a 3D printed one. Oops. Oh, that just looks that just looks weird. That is something. That's something, all right. We'll just say that. Oh boy. All right. Well, yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that's something, all right. I'm gonna leave it at that. Alrighty. Well, so many questions. So many. So many. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go to bed because it's after 11 o'clock here on the East Coast, and so this actually went way longer than I expected it to go, considering how many issues I had to start with. There will not be any music. There will not be. I guess I could have music, but there'd be no slate to go to because I don't have the graphics loaded. So, good night. I will probably be streaming back on Tuesday next week if things go correctly. I will provide updates on my Grandstream install and my community post. I'll share pictures with those of you who are on Signal with me. If you want to watch me do it live, let me know. I don't think any of you actually want to do that with me, but if you do, let me know. And you all have a good night.